Hey, another Age of Empires replay here. This time it's going to be me as the Abbasid dynasty going up against my opponent, Joga Badudu, playing as the Mongols. And this is a dicey matchup because Mongols are still incredibly strong as a civilization, and Abbasid are getting better. The patch added some recent buffs. We collect berries a lot quicker, so it's a great food source for us, and we tech up a little bit quicker. Happy to see some of those benefits. Still a pretty weak naval nation, but for these land-based maps, I wanted to give Abbasid another try on the matchmaking ladder. So for my opening here, I'm trying to get more villagers over here on berries. Knowing that they collect a little bit better, I'm not going to worry too much about my food gathering. Maybe need to send one of these choppers over to grab more food. I don't really think I need the extra wood. That said, when I'm going up against a Mongol player, you have to be really careful about them rushing you with towers or rushing you with spearmen. I figured I could go a little bit more into wood, just in case I need to throw up defenses. But really, I need to rely on my scouts to see what's coming my way and try to make the right unit composition. I'm still going to do the economic wing, which will allow me to do fresh foodstuffs and reduce the cost of villagers by 50%. And here I'm scouting my opponent, seeing deer stones going up, and I see the Ovu, and I don't see any buildings around it, no barracks, so I don't think I'm going to get tower rushed. So my guys on the lumber camp maybe wasn't the best play, but that's all right. I didn't know, only really until I got my scout out here did I notice. And I'm not seeing any buildings around it, so I'm just going to advance and see what happens. Opponent reaches a pretty quick feudal age. And fortunately, I don't lag behind too far with the now speed up on my tech up. Realize I need to get fresh foodstuffs, so I cancel the wheelbarrow that I had researching, instead go for fresh foodstuffs. And now I'm thinking, okay, well, I didn't see too much early aggression, so let's get a stone outcropping down and a stables. If my opponent sends maybe just a few archers at me, or I send a few horsemen at him and he has to defend with archers, great. So I'm going to put down a stables, I'm going to put down an archery range. I don't want to go completely into my second town center immediately like I usually do. Instead, I'm going to try and go a little slower, put out a little bit of aggression. Now I'm seeing a building being built near the Ovu. Looks like it's an archery range, so I'm feeling good about going with these horsemen. But watch what happens when my horsemen arrive. So I'm coming forward. I see a scout and his Khan. I run my horsemen and scout past. But right there, 4 archers already. Turns out he already had an archery range built further into the fog of war that my scout wasn't seeing. So these archers chase down my scout. I'm looking around. He's got 4 more archers here. He's double producing them. He's basically saved up his stone. You can see he's at 420 stone. He's spending it all producing double archers. Now, I think I should have picked it up right here and then. This is looking like an all-in attack. Now, I go in with my horsemen to try and kill off his villager. The horsemen are decent against the archers. Look at how many archers he's making. Right then and there, I should have known. This is an all-in. Instead, I say to myself, well, maybe I can throw up some walls and get away with my second town center. If I have the right unit composition, I can keep making horsemen. I've got 1 of each production building. Let's just start producing units and see if I can get away with teching up. And this is not the right response. This is me not respecting my opponent's build. My scout is right here. I can see these buildings pumping out units. I'm seeing the archers constantly coming out. I should know that there's a huge army of archers heading my way. So I'm putting down a wall. That's good. But I need to change my game plan here. I need to say this stone now needs to go into stone walls and maybe stone wall towers. The wood needs to go into more archery ranges and constant archer production. But I'm still pretty rigid in my game plan here. Great, getting down these walls. I'm thinking, okay, if I just turtle up, everything will be good. I'm scouting around. Still seeing some production. Looks like maybe lots of spearmen coming out from my opponent. He knows that I have a stables. He saw the horsemen coming out. And there's the army of his. It's a huge ball of archers and a few spearmen. That's pretty much going to handle what I've got. I need 2 more archery ranges and to start producing. Instead, I'm saving up. I'm saying to myself, oh, I can almost get my second town center. Here it is. I've got enough. I'll send a big group of villagers to go build it. But I mean, now I'm not getting the wood income that they were just producing. And I'm building my town center all the way over here. In my mind, it was, I can't build it here near these berries because my opponent's definitely been attacking from this area. So I decided to build it over here near these berries, but it's so far away. It doesn't seem like a great spot. Oh, this archer just dies to the town center. He could have done some harassment. Here comes the battering ram. My opponent built a blacksmith and researched the siege engineering. So he's building rams in the field. My thoughts here, okay, battering ram's going to get through this palisade wall pretty quick. Let's throw down another. In the meantime, I can rally some archers over here to just pick shots at the battering ram. But you can see how fast these walls go up. Like I said, the build time on walls are ridiculous in this game. Got my archers forward. I want to trade shots with his archers or just fire at the battering ram, because why not? There's the second battering ram coming forward. And my opponent's right to put on this aggression. Whether he knows it or not, I've placed down my second town center. Trading with his archers, this is a good trade. His full archer ball can't engage with my archers here, so that was really good. Should really come forward and try to pick shots at these. I've got some spearmen, or some horsemen, and I've also got spearmen, sure. At this point, I'm like, I could engage at this choke point, but he's got a lot of archers, so it's not that good of a choke point. If your opponent has lots of ranged units, choke points really aren't that advantageous to you. So I decided to back up to the safety of my town center. I figure I can retreat villagers into it if I need to. That'll give me plenty more arrows firing at my enemy. So this is where ideally I'd like to hold my opponent, right here. I can send my horsemen forward to try and burn down his battering rams. And what I really need to do is use this town center to target fire his spearmen down. The spearmen are the ones that are weak to my archers. And so really the arrows being shot from this town center needs to either be directed at these archers or at my opponent's spearmen. I've lost my archer ball, and now my archers are mostly firing at this battering ram, which is not ideal. Granted, his archers are mostly shooting at my horsemen or occasionally at this mill, and I really need to use the town center to target fire down these archers. Attacking this battering ram is kind of pointless. I could honestly just remove my villagers and have them attack the battering ram with their torches. In fact, that's what I'm doing here, but I'm losing way too many of them here. This is when the town center should target the archers, villagers Once the archers back off, target the battering ram when they're outside of the town center. So I'm losing way too many villagers. I'm at 36 with 15 idle. Opponent's at 40. It's not that big of a split, but it's only going to get worse from here. And yeah, I do have my second town center pumping villagers, which is nice. So I can at least keep pace. But I've lost my standing army. See, this is what I want. Look at the town center engage with the archers here. It's actually doing damage. It's picking them off one by one. And the range on this is huge. You can see how far they attack. I should really use it to target down. I can hold shift and then right click a bunch of archers in his ball, and the town center will take its time shooting at each of them. Meanwhile, the battering ram can do whatever damage it needs to do to the town center. On the back side, I have a villager repairing this town center. And now, while his archer ball is outside, I'm going to re-wall. Now, my opponent is likely just going to come at me again with even more. I suspect even more rams coming my way, lose 2 more villagers. They were trying to back out. I assume his archer ball is going to be even bigger this time. And I'm scouting around with my scout. He is still all inning. It's just all villagers on wood. There's nothing else he's going for. Here come all the rams. Now, this is looking like GG for me. I think I'm pretty much done at this point. The hilarious part is that for all this fighting at these choke points, my opponent really could have just gone right through here. Kind of hilarious that this was actually a perfectly valid way to get into my base. But instead, we duked it out right here. If he had just sent maybe a few archers this way, he could have found a lot of villager pickoffs. But, I mean, we were both pretty tunnel visioned at this point, just defending this area. It was a match that my opponent deserved to win. I could have target fired down the archers, maybe taken out enough of his units to do something, but he's absolutely going all in. Meanwhile, I played greedy and got the town center. I should have identified the all in. How could I have identified the all in? Well, there were all these military productions around the Uvu. That's a big indicator. And I could have just kept my scout here watching for the archers. The moment I saw maybe a dozen archers right here in the early game, I should have known my opponent's going to just keep spending. I need to either get enough troops to deal with a dozen archers or basically play greedy and die. Those were my options. Anyway, it was a short, quick game, and I learned a lot about defending against all-ins. So, hope to catch you next time.